Good afternoon, fellow viewers. Welcome back to Easy Mathematics. Today, we want to start with whatever we'll be doing in this second semester. Today, we want to talk about number, that is our strand, and the substrand is fractions, decimals, and percentages. Let's just go straight forward to what we'll be doing today or discussing about today. We will look at converting improper fraction to mixed fraction. When we say improper fraction, what is an improper fraction? An improper fraction is a fraction having the numerator to be greater than the denominator. So if I have 11 over 5, 11 over 5 is improper fraction because the numerator is greater than the denominator. So how can I convert this improper fraction into mixed fraction? Now what we are going to do is that we will ask ourselves this question. If you have 11 as your numerator and 5 as the denominator, ask yourself, 5 will go into 11 how many times? Or if you recite your 5 times table, 5 times what will give you 11 or something almost equal to 11. Now when we recite our 5 times table, we have 5, 1, 5. 5 times 2 is 10. So this should tell us that 5 will go into 11 2 times and it will leave a remainder of 1. So the number of times that the denominator will divide the numerator becomes the whole number. So 5 will go into 11 2 times, so that becomes your 2 whole number. Then the remainder, it will be left with 1. 1 out of what? 5. Because we divided by what? 5. So 5 will go into 11 2 times, leaving a remainder of 1 out of the 5. So we've converted this improper fraction to mixed fraction. Let's try the other one. Let's say we have 6 over 5. 6 over 5. This is an improper fraction. Why? Because the numerator is greater than the denominator. And this is the numerator, this is the denominator. We can see clearly that 5 is less, or the 6, which is the numerator, is greater than 5. So ask yourself, 5 will go into 6 how many times? It will go into 6 1. And it will leave a remainder of what? 1 out of 5. Always, the denominator given becomes the same denominator here. So this is a mixed fraction. This is also a mixed fraction. Now let's look at a second example. You have 27 over, let's say, 27 over 2. This is an improper fraction because the numerator is greater than the denominator. So when you look at this, 2 will go into 27 how many times? We can say that 2 times 13 is 26. So 2 will go into 27 13 times. Why? Because 2 times 13 is 26. So my answer becomes 13 whole number, 1 over 2. So I have converted this improper fraction into mixed fraction. Now let's look at the other one. So the last one under this one, let's say we have 13 over 6. We can see clearly that the numerator is greater than the denominator. Because the numerator is greater than the denominator, this becomes an improper fraction. So how can I convert or change this improper fraction to mixed fraction? To do that, ask yourself, 6 will go into 13 how many times? If you recite your 6 times table, 6, 1, 6, 6, 2, 12, 6, 3 is 18. And 18 is greater than this, so we have to drop back. 6 times 2 is 12. So that means 6 will go into 13 2 times, leaving a remainder of what? 1 out of 6. Now I have been able to convert each of these improper fractions into a mixed fraction. Now let's look at how can we convert from mixed fraction back into improper fraction. So let me take two of these examples and try another one. So let me take this mixed fraction, 2 whole number 1/5. Now when we were in basic 6, we were taught how to read fractions, either improper, proper, or mixed fraction. So if I want to read this mixed fraction, I'll say this is a whole number. So 2 whole number 1/5. And this gives us the definition of a mixed fraction. A mixed fraction is a fraction having a whole number and a fractional part. So this is the whole number and this is the fractional part. How do I change this into improper fraction? That is converting from mixed fraction to improper or improper fraction. Now look at this mixed fraction and identify the whole number. What is the whole number? The whole number is 2. And what is the denominator? In basic 6 we were taught fraction, so we already know a numerator and a denominator. So this is the numerator and this is the denominator. Numerator, denominator. So you pick the whole number and multiply it by the denominator. Are you getting what I'm saying? Good. Now, if you look at it, this is my whole number and this is my denominator. So you pick the whole number, multiply it by the denominator, then you add the numerator. So this is the whole number times the denominator plus the numerator all over the denominator. So let's multiply. 2 times 5 will give us 10 plus 1 is going to give me 11 out of 5 or 11/5. So we've converted this mixed fraction into improper fraction, which is the same as this. Now let's try a second example for this fraction. We have the mixed fraction, let's convert it into improper fraction. So we have 13 whole number 1/2. To change it from mixed fraction to improper fraction, let's look at what we are going to do. Remember, we are converting from mixed fraction to improper fraction. Now, to convert this one into improper fraction, ask yourself, what is the whole number and what is the denominator? The whole number is 13 and the denominator is 2. So you multiply the whole number times the denominator. So I'm going to say 13 times 2. Then you add the numerator. What is the numerator? The numerator is the 1. So 13 times 2 plus the numerator, which is 1, over the denominator in the fraction, which is 2. So if you are done, we do the simple multiplication and addition. 13 times 2 will give us 26. 26 plus 1 is going to give us 27 out of 2 or over 2. And this fraction is an improper fraction because the numerator is greater than the denominator. Now these ones are basics that we did in class 6 or basic 6, and we are just to recall on it. Now let's look at the next one I will be talking about. Ordering of common decimal. The ordering of common decimal fraction and percentages. The common here is common fraction. So we want to talk about how to order common fraction, decimal fraction, and percentages. When we say a common fraction can be improper fraction or a proper fraction. So let's look at, we have a common fraction, let's say 1/4. And we have a decimal fraction, let's say 0.21, and a percentage, let's say 45%. We want to order this. How can we order? We order in ascending order. We order in ascending or ascend, or you can use the descent. When we were in basic 6, we were taught what ascending order means and that of descending. When we say ascending, you bear witness that it is from the least to the highest. Descending from the highest to the least or the least. So let's say we have to order this in ascending order. In ascending order. To order a common fraction, a decimal fraction, and a percentage in ascending order, we have to make sure that all these three numbers are the same. So either we change this one into common fraction, or we change the percentage into common fraction to get the same. This is a common fraction, this is a decimal fraction, and this is a percentage. Good. In my opinion, I would like you to convert the common fraction and the decimal fraction to percentage. Convert this one and this one to percentage. And how can I do that? Just multiply this by 100, this also by 100. So I'm going to multiply 1/4 times 100 to change the 1/4 into percentages. So 100 is also over 1. So what do? I'm going to multiply 1 times 1, 1 by 100, and 4 by 1. Good. But because I am multiplying, I can cancel diagonally or vertically. So 4 will go into place of 1, and 4 will go into 125. So I'm multiplying 1 times 25 will give me 25. 1 times 1 is going to give me 1. And this gives me 25%. So I have been able to change the 1/4 into percentage. So now this and this are the same. Then I'll pick the 0.21 and also multiply it by 100. Because I want to change this into percentage, this one also into percentage, and for 1, 2 to be the same as the 45%. So what do? Multiplying the 0.21 times 100 will give me what? Because I am multiplying with decimals, with the decimal, assume there is no decimal point. This is going to give me 21 times 100. And 21 times 100 will give me 2,100. But remember that the question was in decimal form. There was a point here, and there were 2 numbers after the decimal point. So after getting your answer, you have to there should be 2 numbers after the decimal point, which is here. So my answer becomes 21%. For multiplying decimals, we have it in our previous videos. So for more information, you can visit our previous videos for more solution for the multiplication of decimals. Now, when I converted the 1/4, I had 25%. When I multiplied this one by 100, I had 21%. So now I can compare 21%, 25%, and 45%, and arrange them in ascending order. So when you look at this thing carefully, ask yourself, 21%, 25%, and 45%, which one is the least? 25% is the smallest, but 21% is the smallest. But remember that 21% was not given to us in a question, but rather it was 0.21. So the first list number is 0.21, followed by 25%. 25% was also not given, but rather 1/4. So the next one is 1/4. Then the last one, 45%, which was given. So when we have to convert from fraction, a common fraction, to a percentage, you just multiply by 100. From decimal to a percentage, you multiply by 100. And if you do this, you will be able to arrange the numbers in ascending or descending order. The same thing you do if you are to do descending. By this time, the highest would have come first, which is 45%, followed by 1/4, then lastly 0.21. And this is how we order common decimal fractions and percentages. Now let's look at the last part under this and it. So when you are being asked to order common fractions, decimal fractions, and percentages, this is how you do. First, what we are going to do, 1/4, 0.21, and 45%. They should all be the same. Either you compare using decimal fraction, this should be decimal, this should also be decimal, or this should be common fraction, or this should be percentage, this one should also be in percentage. To get this one in percentage, you have to multiply this by 100, this also by 100. So 1/4 times 100 will give us 25, because 4 will go to 100 25 times. You multiply, you get 25%. You multiply this one also, you get 21%. For more solution on this type of question, you can visit our previous videos. Let's look at the last part one. That is addition and subtraction of unlike mixed fraction. I'll just go straight forward to the solution. Why? Because we have this also in our previous video. You can just go to your YouTube channel, search for addition and subtraction of unlike mixed fraction. You will get to know more examples on this one. Now I know what mixed fractions are, whole numbers and fraction. So if you have to subtract, look for the whole numbers, subtract them separately. Look for the fractions, subtract them also separately. So I have whole number here is 24, whole number here is also what? 24. So I'll pick the two whole numbers, which is 24 minus 11. And 24 minus 11 will give me 13. If I have 24 and I take away 11, I'm left with 13. So solving for the whole numbers, what did I get? I had 13. So after solving for the whole numbers, you go for the fractions. And what are the fractions? The fractions are 3/4 minus 2/5 is equal to, we find the answer. Now what do? We have to find the LCM. If you are not good in finding the LCM of something like this, just multiply the two denominators. The denominators are 4 and 5. So 4 times 5 will give me 20. So 20 becomes my denominator. So what do you do next? Pick this denominator and ask yourself, 4 will go into 20 how many times? 5 times, because I use 5 to multiply 4. So 4 will go into 20 5 times. Then you use the 5 to multiply this number. So 5 3 is 15. Minus, ask yourself that 5 will go into 20 how many times? 5 times 5 will go into 20 4 times. Then you use the 4 to multiply 2. 4 2 is 8. So after multiplying these two numbers, you just use this to multiply this. Record it. Use this one to multiply this. You record it here. Then we ask ourselves this question. 15 minus 8 will give us what? Will give us 7/20. Now when we solve for the whole numbers, we had 13. When we solve for the fraction, we had 7/20. So the answer for this solution is 13 whole number, 7/20. And this becomes the answer for this. When you come to this one too, we have the same thing. We are subtracting. Whole number 6, whole number 5. So what do? I'm going to pick my whole numbers. 6 minus 5 will give me 1. Now you do the subtraction for the fraction. So 2/3 minus 1/2. Now remember that we are doing unlike mixed fraction. Unlike, it means the denominators are not the same. That is why I'm saying that for more solution, you can visit our previous videos. Good. So I'll find my LCM by multiplying 3 times 2. 3 to 6. 3 will go into 6 2 times. 2 to 4. 2 will go into 6 how many times? 3 times. 3 1 3. Subtracting will give me 1 out of 6. So when I solve for the whole numbers, I had 1. When I solve for the fractions, I had 1 out of 6. And this gives me a final answer for 6 whole number, 2 over 3 minus 5 whole number, 1 over 2, as my whole number, 1 whole number, 1 out of 6. And this becomes your answer. So for subtraction, you group the whole numbers, subtract them. You group the fractions, subtract. If the denominators are not the same, we call it unlike mixed fraction. Now let's look at the addition. One of these, then we shall call it a day. Let's see, we have 3 whole number, 3 over 4, plus 2 whole number, 2 over 5. This is also just like the subtraction. Group whole numbers, put them together. Group fractions, put them together. So I have whole number. So whole number, 3 plus 2. So 3 plus 2 will give me 5. Now pick the whole numbers. 3 over 4